Here we have all the Rebel ships currently available for the Star Wars X-Wing miniatures game. And what I'm going to do in this video is to zoom in so you can see in close detail how they all look out of the box. So they all come pre-painted. I'm going to start on the very far left and we're going to zoom in on the B-Wing. It's a fantastically shaped, designed ship. And as you can see, they've managed to keep that angular presentation very neatly with this clear perspex rod. So all the ships have a small permanently attached bit of clear plastic coming out of the backs or the bottoms of the ships. In the B-Wing's case it's the back, and they then get with two little poles that you get in each pack added to its base. So the bases for all the small ships are all square, 4cm by 4cm. That's about 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. The B-Wing comes in at about 9cm, and that's one of the taller ships for the Rebellion fleet. So the Millennium Falcon's a similar height, and we'll see him shortly. I'm just going to turn the B-Wing around. It's quite fragile guns, and they are light, so you want to really think about what you can actually grab to pick up to turn these. And I've just used the actual cockpit itself, just really to focus on the actual plastic mounting part that I explained earlier. So that goes down out the back and into the base. We'll leave them facing backwards. Okay, so to his side is the Millennium Falcon, and it comes as fully painted as you see here, and it's absolutely lovely. And there's a lot of good detail here. So all the cockpits, there's a lot of different colours. There's scorch marks on the back. We'll turn that around in a moment. And I'm going to just focus in on the dish, because the dish, I'm going to poke my finger in here, can be angled. It can't be spun, so I can't turn it around, but I can angle it facing backwards, and I'll leave it like that because we'll turn the Millennium Falcon around just in one moment. But all the detail regarding the guns, top and bottom, and the cockpit and the doors are all very, very brilliantly painted and very accurate. I'm just going to turn this around now. Now I have actually added some paint to this figure, so the engines as it comes out of the box are actually black, so it's as it were turned off, not flying, and I wanted to add some of that bluey white glow that you get when the ship's in motion. And all the scorch marking and all the top that you've got around there, the work going on that you can see around the engines and the vents and the ducts are all as it came out of the box. I've only really just painted the blue and white lines that you can see there on the rear port of the Millennium Falcon's drives. Okay, let's just try and focus on the Y-Wing. It's right at the back there. Let's go right in. So there's the Y-Wing, classic mainstay, heavier but slower, more cumbersome ship of the Rebellion. It's a really nice simple design, nothing fantastic about that ship. You either love it or you don't. I'm going to ignore the Hawk just for a moment. I'm going to come down to the A-Wing, which is the speediest, newest design, nippy spaceship of the Rebels. Let's get the camera focus, there we go, nice and crisp, beautiful red, really nice ship, very nice design. And again, that ship just comes in at around 7cm tall, the same as the Y-Wing and the X-Wing, which we're going to just look at now. Now the Y-Wing is cumbersome and not so graceful, and the X-Wing is a absolute beauty and a beautiful object to hold and desire. It's of course fragile because all the prongs here, as you can see, very, very fine, very, very small bits of plastic. So I'm going to turn this around as well, give it a little spin. So the engines are also dark, and possibly I'll do a similar thing by putting some paint in the rear ports there, just to give it a little bit of colour. And but as you can see, very, very detailed. All the X-Wings currently available are all with the red stripe. You are soon going to be able to buy a yellow stripe one that comes with the rather large Rebel transport. But I'm going to just bring another X-Wing into shot. So as you can see, identical. So the original one of these X-Wings would have come from the actual miniatures game core set rules, let's call it, and one from the expansion. They're exactly the same, so that's pretty good. Now the RT units, absolutely, you can see them on top there, and a good daub of silver paint on top makes them stand out even more. Let's just pull back again, and we're now going to go into the Hawk transport, Corellian transport ship. That's a recent new addition to the Rebellion range. So this Corellian Engineering Corporation, and it's to resemble a bird in flight, and it does, and it's called HWK-290, and it is of course a Hawk. Now the actual original figure came brown, quite muddy brown, and I didn't really like that colour configuration, and I wanted it to look much closer to the X-Wing, so it's been painted in a kind of more muted grey to do exactly that. It's relatively straightforward, a bit of colouring and a bit of dry brushing. And there's hopefully a ship's colouring style that you quite like. So obviously for a transport it's got guns, so it's useful, as well as in the scenarios that you can have where you can escort this with perhaps some special people on board, but it's got a few abilities to shoot back, etc., and it's got some armour and shields, etc. So it's not a completely dedicated transporter in the strictest sense of the word. So there we go. I'm going to zoom back again, put them at slightly different angles again, so you can just see them in all their glory. I'm going to turn the B-wing around, and of course the Millennium Falcon around, and let's give them a different angle to what you had at the beginning, and I'll just zoom in on that side because I think it's the only side you didn't see. So let's just one last quick zoom in. Now obviously these on your tabletop, as you can see, you do need a good 3 foot by 3 foot playing area minimum. That's the kind of recommended room for a normal play setup, and larger is certainly a bonus if you want to have a really big storyline going on or a larger battle. And certainly when the Rebel transport comes out, I think you're going to want a slightly bigger play area, so certainly getting yourself a large table or play area is going to be quite key to using these figures to their full. And the Millennium Falcon obviously being the larger base range, and although the figure obviously overhangs the base, so the base is the important thing in this game, so it's actually the base that is used for movement, measurement and contact and collisions, etc. So this A-wing can actually go right up to the Millennium Falcon, even though it overhangs a little bit, so you've got to be a little bit careful how you play it with the very proud points of the Millennium Falcon at the front. But broadly speaking, with regards to movement, it's all done through the very, very front plastic bases. I hope you found this video useful and helps you with your purchasing decisions. Please feel free to like, subscribe and comment.